Test. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the OneClass channel. My name is Andrew and I'm doing statistics and mathematics at University of Toronto. And today we'll be going over some commonly asked mathematics questions at both the high school level and college levels. And if you need some homework help or tutoring, please check out the links in the description below. So now let's jump into our session. Alright. So our first question is asking, a council of 10 members must make a 4-member committee for a particular task. So how many ways can this be done? Okay, so now let's first copy down the question. So a council of 10 members must make a 4-member committee for a particular task. How many ways can this be done? Alright, so this is a combination problem where we need to choose a certain amount of elements from a set of number of elements, and this also means that the order of the combination doesn't really matter. Yeah, so let's write that down. So we're solving a combination question, and in combination, order does not matter. Does not matter. All right, and coming up we have our formula. So for non-repeating elements, the formula is C and R is equal to n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial. And where n is the number of elements to choose from, and r is a number we will choose. Number we will choose. And yeah. So for here we know that a council of 10 members will be the non-repeating elements. So let's solve the question. So it states that we need to make a 4-member committee out of 10 members. So in other words, we need to choose 4 people from 10 people, right? So in this case, our n will be 10, and our r is 4. Right. And yeah, and let's put that into the formula. So it becomes to C 10 4 is equal to n factorial, which in this case will be 10 factorial. Well, let's just copy down the original formula first. N minus r factorial, and n factorial is just 10 factorial, r factorial, which is 4 factorial, and n minus r, which is 10 minus 4 factorial. All right. And which will give us 10 factorial over 4 factorial times 6 factorial. Alright. And remember, the factorial is just a number multiplied by all the numbers preceding it. So if we have like 3 factorial, it just means 3 times 2 times 1. And if I got 4 factorial, just 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Right. So by knowing this, we can simplify our fraction. So C10(4), which is equal to 10 factorial over 4 factorial 6 factorial, which can also be written as 10 minus 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And 4 factorial is the first bracket, and 6 factorial will be the second part. Okay, so now let's simplify it, because for the top we got 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and as a bottom we got the same thing, so these two can be cancelled out, and yeah, so these two parts are exactly the same, so we can cancel them now. So what we'll have left will be 10 times 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 over 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is 5040 over 24, which is equal to 210. And now we need to write our final conclusion. So therefore there are 210 combination in choosing a 4-member committee out of 10 members. And if you are allowed to use your scientific calculator, you can just use there's an NCR function. Yeah, you can just put this into a calculator, and the input will just be 10C4, and this is also going to give you 210 at the end. Yeah. So I think that's all we got for this question. Yep. Alright, so let's leave a comment there. Yeah, 210. Good job. Okay. So coming up, we have our second question. So first, let's copy down the question. It's asking, how do you convert 60 feet to yards? All right. So first, feet and yards are two different measurement standards for length. And so first, let's figure out our conversion factor. So we know the conversion. So 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. All right. And now we want to convert 60 feet to yard. Six, 60 feet, let's call it x, is equal to x yard. Yeah. So by knowing these two, we can combine them and make a equation which is look like this. So 6 feet over x is equal to 3 feet over 1 yard, right? And we apply some algebraic manipulation to solve for x, and we will have x is equal to 6 feet times 1 yard over 3 feet, which will give us 20 times 1 yard, which means x is equal to 20 yards. Right. So and then let's write our conclusion. Therefore, $60 feet is equal to 20 yards. Yeah, so that's all we got for this question. And let's leave a comment there. Well, all right, so our next question. It's asking us, oops, what is a cosine function? Right. So first let's write down the definition. So the cosine function is one of the basic trigonometric functions, because the other two are sine function and tangent functions. And it is defined as the ratio of the side of the triangle adjacent to the angle divided by the hypotenuse. So, second point, it is the ratio of the side of the triangle adjacent to the angle divided by the hypotenuse. And let's draw a little graph to illustrate this. And let's calculate theta. So for here, it is our adjacent, and this part will be our opposite, and the longest side will be our hypotenuse. All right. And this function is commonly used to solve problems involving distance or height given different parts of the triangle. And now let's try this with the example. So if we have a triangle here, let me write down the graph. So hypotenuse will be 17, and this side is 15, and this side is 8, and that is theta. And we would like to find out the result for cosine theta. So with respect to the angle, which in this case would be theta, it's right here, we can observe that the adjacent side has a measurement of 8 units, and the hypotenuse had a measurement of 17 units. So I'll just write it here. So this part will be adjacent, and 17 will be the hypotenuse side, and this part 15 is our opposite. Yeah. All right. So by knowing this, recalling what we just mentioned about it is a ratio of the side of the triangle adjacent to the angle divided by the hypotenuse, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is just 8 over 17, because adjacent is 8 and hypotenuse is 17. Right. And also the cosine function is also related to the unit circle. And the unit circle is a circle centered on the origin 0, 0 of a Cartesian plane with a radius of 1 unit, and the cosine corresponds to the x-coordinate of the point with respect to the angle. So let me draw that down. All right. So this point is 1, 0 and 0, 1, negative 1, 0 and 0, negative 1. All right. All right. And now let's create an angle with pi over 6, which will somehow look like this. Right. So that's already here. Pi over 6. And this point, the coordinate of this point will be root 3 over 2, 1 over 2. And if we have an angle with, let's say, pi over 3, it will be here, pi over 3. So the coordinate for this point will be 1 over 2, root 3 over 2. Yep. And if we have a, let's say we have an angle here. Oops. Let me switch a color. So for here, our angle is gonna be 3 pi over 2, and the angle, the coordinate of the point is just gonna be 0, -1. Right. So by knowing this, let's figure out what is the cosine pi over 6 equal to. So we can just directly observe from the unit circle that the angle pi over 6 has a coordinate of √3 over 2 and a y coordinate has 1 over 2, which is right here. So the cosine function takes the value of the x coordinate, which is cosine pi over 6 is equal to √3 over 2. Alright. Yeah, I think that's all we got for this question. Oops. I just need to charge my computer. Okay, so let's leave a comment there. Good job. Right. So next we have how to find the vertex of a quadratic equation. Okay, let's copy that question. Find the vertex of quadratic equation. There are several ways of finding the vertex of quadratic equation, and today I'm going to show you how to do it by solving the derivative of it. Alright, so first, any quadratic equation will have one vertex, either at its maximum or minimum critical point, depending on the orientation of the parabola. So let's say we got a graph look like this. And another one. So in this case, we will know that the vertex for the pink one will be, let's call this at point A. And the vertex for the green one will be part B. And will be point B. And we know that A is a minimum critical point. Minimum critical point. Where B is the maximum critical point. And what is common for this critical point is that at this point the slope of the graph is 0. So let's write that down. Slope at critical point of the graph is 0. And in order to solve this, we will first need to get the derivative of the function. So get the derivative of the function. And let's just call the pink one with the function of hx is equal to 2x squared. All right. So now we have our fx is equal to 2x squared. And we need to take the derivative of fx, which is the derivative of fx is equal to the derivative. We just need to take the derivative of 2x squared. Right. So we can know the the derivative of fx is just gonna be 4x. Since we just take the 4, take the 2 to the front and just minus 1 as the exponent part. So 2 minus 1 is just going to be 1. Right. And now we just need to solve for x where y is equal to 0, or we see the derivative of fx is equal to 0. So solve for x where, derivative of fx is equal to 0. Yeah. So we have derivative of fx is equal to 4x is equal to 0, which will give us x is equal to 0. And since we now know the x coordinate of the vertex, we just need to solve for the corresponding y coordinate. Right. So we sub this into our original fx. So f0 is gonna be equal to 2 times 0 squared, which is gonna be 2 times squared, which is just gonna be, 2, which is equal to 2 times 0, which is gonna be equal to 0. So let's write down our conclusion. Therefore, the coordinate of the vertex is 0, 0. Right. Yeah. So I think that's all we got for this question. Oh, just one thing I want to mention, that after you finish solving the x coordinate, remember to put it back to our original fx function instead of the derivative of fx. Yeah. So in this case, we need to sub it back to the 2x squared instead of 4x. Yeah. So I think that's all we got for this question. Let's leave a comment there. Good job. Yeah, so I think these are all the questions for today. If you enjoyed today's Q&A and would like to be notified of when we do this next, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell below. And if you'd like to submit your own questions, please read the links in the description. Remember to leave a like and a comment and share this video with your friend. And this has been Andrew from OneClass.